this tutorial, we are going to be studying directed numbers, how to add and subtract positive and negative integers. Now let's start with addition. To add two directed numbers with the same sign, we find the sum of the two numbers and give the answer the same sign. For example, we have a +3 and a +5. Now what is the sum of the two numbers? The sum of 3 and 5 is 8. Because 3 and 5 have a positive sign in front of them, we simply give the answer a positive sign, and that's the answer. Let's see another example. We have a -7 and a -3. Now we find the sum of 7 and 3, which will give us a 10. And we include the sign of both numbers because they have the same sign, and when the sign is negative, we put it in front of the answer. So a -7 plus a -3 is going to give us a -10. Let's see another example. Now we have three numbers. We have a -2, -1, and a -5. We want to add these numbers. First, let's take the first two, a -2 and a -1. Because they have the same sign, we find the sum of the two numbers. So the sum of 2 and 1 will give us a 3. Now the sign before the two numbers is a negative sign, so we simply put a negative sign in front of the 3. And now we want to add it to the last number, which is a -5. So -3 plus a -5. We simply find the sum of 3 and 5. The sum of 3 and 5 is going to give us 8. And because they have negative signs in front of them, both 3 and 5 have negative signs in front of them, we simply put a negative sign in front of the answer. And we've seen that a -2 plus a -1 plus a -5 is going to give us a -8, and that's the answer. It's very simple. Now, when we want to add two directed numbers with different signs, what we do is we find the difference between the numbers and give the answer the sign of the larger number. Let's see an example. We have a +7 plus a -3. Now we want to add, so we simply find the difference between 7 and 3. The difference between 7 and 3 is 4. Now the larger number is 7, so the sign of the larger number is a plus, so we put a plus in front of the answer. So +7 plus -3 is going to give us a +4. Let's see another example. We want to add -12 to a +9. So we find the difference between 12 and 9. The difference between 12 and 9 will give us a 3. Now the larger number, which is 12, carries a negative sign in front of it. Therefore, the answer is going to carry a negative sign. So we put a negative sign in front of the answer. So to add 12, -12 and +9 is going to give us a -3. Let's see another example. We have a +4 and a +8. What is the difference between 8 and 4? The difference between 8 and 4 is 4. The difference between 8 and 4 is 4. Now the larger number is 8, and the sign in front of the larger number is a negative sign. So we simply put a negative sign in front of the answer, and we get a -4 as the answer. So note that whenever you are dealing with directed numbers and there is a bracket, a plus times a plus will give you a plus sign. A plus times a minus will give you a minus sign, while a minus times a plus will give you a minus sign. Also, a minus times a minus will give you a plus sign. Okay, let's see some examples. Now we want to subtract two directed numbers. To subtract two directed numbers, you simply change the sign. So we have a -9 minus a -11. Now because there's a bracket, minus times minus will give us a plus. Therefore we change the sign, so we get a -9 plus an 11. Remember, like we said earlier, a minus times a minus will give us a plus. So a minus 9 plus 11 is the same as 11 minus 9, and the answer is a plus 2. I know it's very, very simple. Let's see another example. We want to subtract a plus 4 from a negative 8. So remember, a minus times a plus will give us, minus times a plus is going to give us a minus. So what we simply do is we change the sign, so we have a minus 8 minus 4. And because we have a minus 8 and minus 4, minus 8 plus minus 4 is going to give us a minus 12. So in simple terms, because we are subtracting a positive number from a negative number, we simply add the positive number to the negative number and give the answer a negative sign. Now let's subtract a plus 7 let's subtract a plus 5 from a plus 7. So what do? We change the sign. We have this plus 7. We have a plus 7 minus 5. And 7 minus 5 is going to give us 2. A plus 2, and that's the answer. I know it's very simple. Now let's see another example. We want to subtract a minus 5 from a minus 7. So what do? We simply change the signs. We have a minus 7 plus 5. We change the sign because there's a bracket, and minus times minus will give us a plus. So a minus 7 plus 5 is going to give us, if you press it in your calculator, it's going to give us a minus 2. And that is the answer. I know it's very, very simple. Please go ahead and try the examples on your own, and I know you can do it.